If you didn't know already, the meta defense in Madden 24 is something called Mabel coverage. In today's video, we're going to go over the basics of Mabel coverage so you can start winning more games right now. Let's get into it. So to set up Mabel coverage, all you're going to do is go to coaching adjustments by pressing RS on your controller. And you're going to switch the auto alignment to base. And then you're going to go to zone drops. And then you're going to put flats at 30 yards and curl flats at 5 yards. And the most basic way of running a Mabel coverage is within a cover 2 defense. So in this video, we're just going to go to dollar and we're going to go to cover 2 press. Now, what is the purpose of double Mabel coverage? Why is it so popular? And how do you set it up? To set up the defense, you're going to press the defense, which is Y or triangle, and then down with the left stick. Then the most important adjustment you have to make is to back off your 30-yard flat defenders, which are the outside corners. Anytime you have a 30-yard flat, the most important thing you gotta do is back those defenders off. The reason you have to do this is because if you do not back them off, they will not reach the 30-yard depth that you need them to go to. But if you back them off, they will reach the appropriate depth to play optimal defense. And that optimal depth is 30 yards. Then you're going to put the slot defenders on a curl flat, which will be the 5-yard curl flats because that's what we set them up to be in the coaching adjustments. Now, in the most basic way, this is what Mabel coverage looks like. And you may have guessed already that the user, which is you, will be in control of the middle of the field. So now you know the setup and your responsibility as the user, but what does this defense actually do? Mabel coverage is known to guard the sidelines and more specifically, corner routes exceptionally well. It also makes the opponent have to throw the ball to the middle of the field, which is where your best defender is, which is you, the user. Now let's go over some popular route concepts that this defense will destroy. The first concept we will go over is the flood concept out of condensed sets, which is extremely popular every year in Madden. And it's important to know that the flood concept is normally ran to the short side of the field in condensed sets. So the offense will be in bunch to start, and here we have a vertical, a corner route, and a flat route. And you're gonna see that when we snap the ball, these routes literally run right into our defense. The flat is guarded by the 5-yard curl flat, the corner is guarded by the 30-yard flat, and the vertical is guarded by the deep half safety. So if you are struggling guarding corner routes in Madden 24, this defense is especially good for you, or just 30-yard flats in general. But what about the backside in this play? What a lot of people do is double Mabel both sides no matter the formation or where they are regarding the hash marks. But if you think about it, most of your threats are on the right side of the field here, and we really can't be threatened by a flood concept on the backside. So given that, we can roll our defense towards the strong side of the offense by doing something like this. Putting your corner on a deep third, the backside safety on a middle third, and maybe if you only want to send 3, you can put the linebacker in a hook curl, which can help you guard the wheel routes by the running back. And now as the user, you really don't have to worry about guarding so much grass in the middle of the field, and you really have help in almost every quadrant of the field. Now that one example is a big reason why Mabel coverage is so good this year. It guards 99% of the corner routes that are thrown at you, and corner routes are probably the best route in the game. Now what if the offense was running a flood concept in a tight doubles formation opposed to the bunch formation, with the outside receiver on the backside on a corner, and the tight end on a vertical? Well, the same rules can apply. You really just have to worry about Mabeling the short side of the field. Then on the backside, you can do the same thing with the corner in a deep third, and you want to make sure that you press this deep third so it could guard corner routes. And then you can put the safety in a middle third. And when I snap the ball, you will see that the routes run directly towards our defenders like they did before. Everything is locked up. Now, what if the formation is flipped? So in other words, what if the strong side of the offensive formation was on the left side or the far side of the field? So now they're trying to run a flood concept to the far side in a condensed formation. What a lot of people do not know is that they do not have to use Mabel coverage to the far side of the field if the offensive formation is condensed. And if that sounds complicated to you, don't worry because I'm going to explain it even further. If you double Mabel a coverage to the far side of the field and your opponent runs a flood concept to that side, you will see that the corner routes are actually able to get behind that 30-yard flat. The reason that happens to the far side is because that corner has more space to get behind that 30-yard flat opposed to the weak side or the short side because a corner route does not have enough room to get behind that 30-yard flat. So a way to counter a flood concept in a condensed formation to the strong side is to simply put the corner on an outside third and press the deep third corner. And it's important to press him, like I said before, because he will guard the corner route exceptionally well, opposed to when you back them off. Then you can put the safety on an inside third or an inside quarter, really whatever you want. And you're gonna see here that the corner route will not be able to get behind that deep third like it did against the 30-yard flat. And just with that tip alone, you will be able to shut down corner routes going to either the weak side or the strong side of their formation. You'll be able to beat a lot of people knowing that tip. Now here is something that a little more advanced Madden players do. Sometimes people who are pretty good at the game will motion out their receiver on a vertical in a flood concept going to the far side. So if we were to run that same defense with an outside third and then the middle third on the safety, the vertical will actually pull the deep third zone away to create space for the corner route, which will end up being wide freaking open. So if you're playing an advanced player and you see that motion, how can you counter that? Well, that is when the Mabel coverage comes back into play. So if the receiver motions out, we will set up our Mabel coverage to that side. So what we'll do is what we did in the beginning of the video. We'll press the secondary and back off the corner in a 30-yard flat. And if you have time, you can actually manually move the corner back a few yards to make sure the corner route won't get behind him. And then you're gonna put the corner on a 5-yard curl flat to guard the short routes. And then on the backside, because there are two receivers, we need to make sure we can still guard the corner route if the opponent has some type of pull route that can take the corner out of the play. So something we can do here is actually double maple both of our sides of the coverage. We can do so by leaving the 30-yard flat on the corner and putting the 5-yard curl flat on the slot corner. And then our backside safety can actually be on an inside quarter instead of a deep half. This will even be better to guard any vertical routes from these two receivers. And that would be the final setup. So if the offense were to run a flood concept to the left and then maybe a street corner to the right, we'll snap the ball, and the first thing I want you to see is how bad the flood concept is on the strong side. The 30-yard flat takes the corner that we backed up, remember, and the deep half takes the vertical. And the flat route is also guarded by the 5-yard curl flat. And then you will see that the street corner on the back side is easily locked up with no one to throw to. If you are looking for pro-level Madden 24 ebooks, game plans, and constant updates to keep up with the latest meta, check out victoryformation.gg, created by Swole himself. His team consists of some very high-level competitive Madden players, so go check out the link in my description and be sure to sign up with the code RZR for a 10% discount. If you have any questions about Mabel coverage, let me know in the comments and I'll get back to you as soon as possible. I hope you're having a great day. I'll see you next time.